What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, back with another AEW Week in Review. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that other stuff. Social media down there. So there's a lot of stuff to record this week, so I'm probably not going to do any post-credit scenes, even though you guys really aren't watching them or reacting to them as well as I'd hope, but I'm still going to do them because, I don't know, I like doing them. Anyway, so for my AEW Week in Review, if this is the first time you're watching, I review everything that happened in AEW's World, BTE, Dark, and Dynamite. This week, I tried to do, because it was Fight for the Fallen, I wanted to do a preview and predictions and a recap, but it's just timing, just didn't work out, so I'm going to do it here in my normal course of reviewing. So we're going to just jump right into it, because I got a lot of things to record this week, this weekend. So we're going to start off with BTE. The title of this episode is called This Episode is About 30 Minutes Long, and sure enough, it was about 30 minutes long, about 29 change. So we start out with the Bucks, Kenny, Hangman, and Cutler in a room. Nick says to check their spam mail. Apparently they get an email from Chili's to do their next commercial. 4 vocalists, and then Brandon Cutler's obviously feels like he's left out, and then they say 1 percussionist, and he says he can play the drums. Cutler sent to go get it printed because they're under the gun. They're all screaming at him to hurry up. Matt says they're taking on too much, and he's trying to think of ways to get out of it. Cutler rushes in. Matt's taking too long, and then to sign it, and then he gigs himself all over the contract. They're all mad. Kenny was hoping to use this to quit wrestling, apparently. Nick threatens to go on a singles run. It's going on a little too long. They're heaping on top of Matt, but yeah, so they're not going to be doing the Chili's commercial after all. We get Hardy is with the chair of wheels, the wheelchair, when Kaz finds him, and he's still doing the same southern accent still. Hardy calls him a fractured Frankie, and he needs to be put in the Lake of Reincarnation. So I don't know if we're going to see Kaz at the Hardy compound, and the Lake of Reincarnation will be able to heal him of his fracturedness. We see Cole going to mess with Kenny again in the trainer's room. Hangman pulls him into a closet, says that Kenny will kill him, that Hangman offers himself for the bit, for Cole to chase him around in so that he doesn't have to do it with Kenny. But Cole was told to get his affairs in order if he wants to actually go through with bothering Kenny. So obviously, as I had said last week, there is kind of a fine line between canon and what is going on in BTE. But this actually is kind of a little analogous to what's going on because what we'll see in Fight for the Fallen / Dynamite, Kenny is starting to move a little heelish. So, I don't know if this is kind of on his way there or not. So, anyway. So we get Hardy with Private Party. They're looking sloppy in the ring. He's calling out spots for them to try and practice, and he calls it, oh, don't worry, you guys botched it. And then they do the freeze frame, and then where Matt Hardy was, Matt Jackson is kind of behind him, so it looks like Matt Hardy, so that Matt Hardy can come in as broken Matt Hardy, so it looks like he's in 2 places at once. So he explains what botch is, Tales from the Inside, Broken Brilliance. It actually apparently came from the internet, not wrestling people. Then they botch again when he unfreezes. We had Kenny and Cutler are doing the fake drug bit again, and Matt walks in, and they're talking about melatonin gummies this time instead of creatine. They try to push it on Matt, and he eventually refuses, kicks them out of the room. We get Silver and Reynolds walk into a room where Chris Statlander is rehabbing her knee. They help her up, and they try to recruit her. Silver and Stat start yelling at each other. She asks them to open the Kool-Aid, and she has a homemade Chuck Taylor action figure because she's lonely, apparently. Chuck told her that they are spooky perverts and not to join them, so they're obviously pissed at her. We get the Cutler cam for the 8-man tag that happened at Fyter Fest, which was pretty good. We get MJF and Wardlow, bumps into Matt Hardy. MJF compliments Hardy's suit. Hardy compliments MJ's tie. Apparently, he's doing his big money Matt gimmick from, I believe, from Impact. MJF says his nose looks like a puzzle with a missing piece, which is pretty funny. We get the Speaking Spanish segment again. The only thing here is Dasha throws the sandal, and it goes through it's like Thor's hammer, just going everywhere, and then eventually hits both of them, Santana and Ortiz. We get the Nick Cam during the Dark match with Cutler and Avalon. Super Panda shows up to train Luchasaurus. He's worried about stiff-shotting Kenny from their fight for the fall in the six-man tag. Panda knows how to beat them. He starts singing "Eye of the Dino." Kind of does a Mr. Miyagi montage, and it actually works. He wants Luchasaurus to do a Canadian Destroyer in the pool, but apparently Luchasaurus is scared to do it. We get Brody Lee on the phone saying that they fucked up. Silver and Reynolds arrive, and he's pissed with them. They say they have Jungle Boy, so he's like, holy shit, you have Jungle Boy? So he brings him into a room, and you see from the back, they turn him around, and it's Griff Garrison. And his reaction, Brody Lee's reaction, is hysterical. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? And he just he's like, this is Griff Garrison. It's a really funny reaction to it. He hits Uno with papers, screams, walks off, and that is BTE for the week. I'm going to grab a bottle of water. Hold on 1 second. And I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm just waiting for the light to get a little nicer. There we go. Super unprofessional. I know, I should have been more prepared. Moving the mic in a little bit. Yeah, so it's off camera. There we go. Alright, so BTE out of the way. So now we're going to AEW Dark. So we start off with a tag match. So we get Riche, Chanel, and Diamante versus Brandy and Allie, the Nightmare Sister. Dustin obviously out with them. Allie with the I Miss You QT sign. So we start out with Allie does the drop down slap, kind of like Dustin and Cody do. They double team by Brandy and Allie on Chanel. Distraction by Diamante lets Chanel get some offense in. Diamante with the Casador, but Allie reverses to a slam. Eventually gets the hot tag to Brandy. Super kick and a pump kick by Brandy on Chanel. Spear by Brandy for the win. Allie seems to be part of the crew now. They actually seem like they were kind of on the same page. They're starting to get a little chemistry going. Even Dustin seems to be a little more receptive to Allie, even though he already thinks he knows what's going to happen. We then get Robert Anthony versus Ricky Starks. Taz loves Starks. Apparently he does the cross arm thing, but he still loves him anyway. A lot of mat-based wrestling to start. A lot of catch can. Starks takes control, does a release Northern Lights. Big spear by Starks, and Anthony rolls to the outside because the spear is kind of Starks' finishing move. We get a tilt-a-whirl gut wrench by Anthony back in the ring. Romero surfboard special by Anthony, then slams Starks using the legs, like let's go to the arm, slams him down with the legs for a 2 count. It was actually pretty creative. We get double underhook Dominator by Starks for the win. And then Stark fist bumps Taz on the way out, showing that they respect each other. Get a Sean Spears video package, kind of the history of the Black Glove, of some of the people that have had it before. We get Dark Order, Silvers, Reynolds, and 5 versus Sean Dean, Will Hobbs, and Joe Alonzo, 6-man tag. Uno and Grayson and 10 out with them. 5 tossed into his own corner by Hobbs. Alonzo tossed onto Silver for a 2 count. Dean with a tope con hero on Reynolds and Silver. 5 tosses Dean to the barricade. We get a moonsault by 5 across the back of one of them for a 2 count. We get a German bridge by Silver on Hobbs. Alonzo comes to break it up. We get a standing Spanish fly by 5 on Sean Dean. And then we get a wing snapper by 5. And then a double destroyer DDT on Alonzo for the win. So Dark Order makes short work of these guys. Then we get Michael Nakazawa versus Marco Stunt. Nakazawa says he doesn't need the oil. Drivers for shoulder block. Goes for a shoulder block. We get sent to the ground. Marco with the suicide dive, sending Nakazawa into the barricade. Marco. My notes are terrible today. I don't know what I was doing. So Nakazawa has a spare bottle of oil. He then does the sliding senton, Samoan drop. We get spear by Nakazawa, but only gets a 2 count. Nakazawa takes out the thong, but Stunt counters the thong, and it's stuck to Nakazawa, and then Stunt rolls him up for the win. So obviously he's hoisted on his own petard, as they like to say, with Nakazawa and that gross thong. We get Luther and Serpentico versus Brady Pierce and Pineapple Pete. Another one that, Luther's the only one technically signed to AEW, but obviously we saw Serpentico and Luther. I believe it was a couple weeks back in a trios match, so they kind of had sort of a bond going on. We get Pineapple Pete with some offense on Luther, but it stopped with a pump kick. Serpentico crotches Pineapple Pete on the post. Serpentico slammed on Pineapple Pete by Luther 3 different times. Roll through X Factor by Pineapple Pete. We get a hot tag to Brady Pierce. Flapjack, pump kick, spinebuster, all on Serpentico. Luther breaks up the count. We get Serpentico with a standing slice spread on Brady. And then electric chair double stomp on Brady for the win. So Luther and Serpentico now get a win. We'll see if, what this means for them. Are they going to become some kind of, tag team, on Dynamite maybe? Or is it just going to be strictly the Dark? I like Serpentico. I actually think he's pretty good. Luther, I just don't have any really care to see. So we get Jurassic Express, not Marco Stunt. We get Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus Cutler and Avalon. So we get the Bucks at ringside. Double team isolation on Jungle Boy. Standing Rana by Cutler. Casadora flatliner combo on Cutler for a 2 count. We get Lucha comes in, cleans house. Chokeslam by Luchasaurus and a standing moonsault, but Cutler gets the knees up. He does the inside cradle for a 2 count. Leva actually hits a Rana from the apron on Jungle Boy, a la kind of Zelina Vega in WWE. This is the first time I've ever seen her do anything more than just a trip. Swinging DDTs by Cutler and Avalon. Avalon hits the Martinis and a springboard elbow by Cutler, but on Luchasaurus, but Jungle Boy breaks up the count. Suicide dives by both by Jungle Boy, does one, then runs through the ring and then does the other. Tiger suplex by Jungle Boy and Avalon for a 2 count. Eventually they hit the Casadora cutter combo on Avalon for the win. And then we get our main event, Brian Cage versus Brian Pillman Jr. Cage tells Justin Roberts it's an FTW championship match. Cage no-sells a super kick and a roundhouse kick. Huge release German on Pillman. Diving drop kick through the ropes to the outside by Pillman. Cage catches Pillman doing a cannonball to a suplex on the outside. Powerbomb toss into the post. Pillman suplex back into the ring, drill claw for the win, but then hits multiple power bombs and then a fireman carry driver, just kind of letting you know what he believes Moxley will be in for at Fight for the Fallen the next day. And so that goes right into our Fight for the Fallen. So just as a point of reference, I did put down my predictions, even though, let's face it, if it's not on camera, then it didn't happen. But I got everything right. The only thing was 2 of my kayfabe picks who I wanted to win didn't win, but my shoe picks who I actually thought was going to win won. But yeah, no, I was right on everything across the board. So we're going to go right into it. So Fight for the Fallen, AEW Dynamite. So Tony was not on commentary. Apparently he was waiting for the results of a COVID test. It wasn't that he tested positive or anything. It was strictly because he didn't have the COVID test results in time, which was unfortunate. So in his place, Taz would stand in up until the, I believe, the match before Moxley's and Brian Cage's match. So we get our first match opening up for the TNT title. We get Cody versus Sonny Kiss. So Sonny Kiss comes out. He's doing a whole dance routine with the Jags cheerleaders. Has new music. So we started out. Cody starts out hot. Pump kick. He's super aggressive. He does a disaster kick for a 2 count. Arn's yelling at him because he's get his head in the game because he's being really arrogant. Sonny kicks out of a pin. He's doing his push-ups. We get Tully watching. Kiss with a Rana and a handstand leg scissors. Sonny counters with his own crossroads for a 2 count. He does a 450 for a 2 count. That was pretty cool. Kiss with another head scissors and thrown out onto the ramp. Cody hits a reverse Alabama slam and then puts him back in the ring with the foot on the ropes. Reverse gory. It's a vertebreaker. An invertebreaker he does. I thought it was like a reverse gory special, but it was a vertebreaker. Dropped him on his head. It was very... that can go really wrong. But it only gets a 2 count for Cody. Suplex by Cody for a 2 count. Or superplex by Cody for a 2 count. Cody's arguing with Aubrey. Sonny with the roll-up. Cody with the crossface. And Sonny just... Woo. Sonny, with the crossface. Sonny gets to the ropes. Cody exposes the turnbuckle. Then Kiss hits a counter Casadora, which sends Cody into the turnbuckle. Eventually, Cody just gets super frustrated, hits a crossroads, which Sonny Kiss sells like crazy. It looks like he's just bent in half for the win. Cody, picks him up, hugs him, kind of apologizes. But this is something that we've been seeing a little more. Obviously Cody alluded to it in one of his promos that he feels like he's no longer in the Elite, no longer in the Nightmare family. There've been a lot of rumors of, the possible Four Horsemen reuniting with FTR, Shawn Spears, maybe even Hangman or Kenny. Obviously, Tully's been watching a lot. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Obviously, I don't know if Cody will ever be a true heel, but he'll be like an arrogant prick. I can definitely see that. And then FTR, obviously, you'll see that they're pretty heelish. Obviously, Shawn Spears is pretty heelish. I don't know if Arn, Arn's been pretty face this whole time. Obviously, Tully, we know, is heel with Shawn Spears. I'm not sure how they want to really do that. It'd be interesting to get a faction, and especially the what do you call it, the Four Horsemen. Obviously, that would be huge. I mean, let's face it, that's tremendous. But whether or not it would actually work, I don't know. They planted a lot of seeds. I like the fact that AEW doesn't force anything. They do long-term story booking on this. Oh, hit the mic. Anyway, so we got FTR versus the Lucha Brothers. A lot went on in this match. Butcher and the Blade drive in with the stolen FTR car with Lucha Brothers. Dax has no time for Pentagon's hand shit with the gloves, so he stomps his hand. Super kick by Pentagon. It was very sloppy to start out this match. They tried to do their Casadora wheelbarrow slam combo, Lucha Brothers, and it just looked like they timed it bad, and they had to kind of try it again, and like Dax was just laying there. It was really bad. Not bad, but it looked off. They looked like they're off, but then as the match progressed, they really started to hit their stride. This wasn't as great as everyone, and myself included, predicted it to be. I mean, two of the best tag teams in the world going at it. You think it's just going to be a barn burner. It was good. It got better. It was a little sloppy to start. Obviously such a contrast in styles. But when you see how good they are, you understand. That the contrast in styles should be able to. They should find their way through it. Being as good as they are. So let's see. We get Tully's out there watching as well. Obviously with the rumors of a possible Four Horsemen reuniting or reincarnation, I guess. Cash worked over during the picture-in-picture. We get a hot tag to Dax. Snap suplexes all around. Great combo on Phoenix by Dax for a 2 count. We get the assisted splash, springboard leg drop on Cash for a 2 count by Lucha Brothers. Pentagon and Dax on top. Superplex by Pentagon. We get the splash by Cash. Splash by Phoenix with all with the knees up. Everyone's doing a splash and everyone had their knees up. They just start brawling. Cash with the dive to the outside, DDT on Pentagon, which was pretty impressive. Diving splash by Phoenix. Dax then rips Phoenix's mask off for a small crater for the win. That was just dick. That was the dickhead move of the night. So I mean, that thoroughly makes them heels, even though Lucha Brothers and Butcher and the Blade are heels. That just takes it to a whole nother level. So then you see Butcher and Blade really pissed off at FTR for what they did. The Bucks come up behind them, super kick them, and then grab the keys to the car. So as they approach the ring, so does Kenny from the ramp, and he's got a cooler with him. He gives them. I'm assuming they look like Miller Lights with like Sharpie scribbled out because they don't want to have like the brand on it or something. So they hand beers to FTR. Kenny's like, listen, let's do this. I'm apologizing for what happened last week, dumping out the beer. Bygones be bygones. So they open up the beers and they dump it out on Kenny, and Kenny is pissed. The Bucks stop him from, fighting them. No Hangman, obviously. He's not out there. So then we get a great segment. Jericho out there with the inner circle. Everyone's holding like a half gallon of OJ. They're talking about how good his match with Cassidy was, talks about winning the ratings, and explains what the 18-49 all-important, super important demo, calls himself the demo god because he wins that demo all the time. Everyone wants, Orange Cassidy to have a rematch, except Jericho. says we start getting you're scared chants. He tells them all to shut their asses up. He gets one sip for him, and then he dumps out another one for Orange Cassidy's dead career. Cassidy's music hits, and he comes out from the stands. Jericho puts him down and says there will never be a rematch. Orange Cassidy then gives the thumbs up. Oh my god, there's a freaking giant bug on my wall. Hold on, sorry. Gotcha, bug. Sorry. Had to go for both a water and a bug on the wall. Sorry. So where was I? Cassidy then gives the thumbs up and then does the thumbs down, Batista style. And from the heavens, in typical wrestling fashion, orange juice, just gallons upon gallons of orange juice, just fall on top of the inner circle. And Ortiz overselling the shit out of it that he can't even like stand, and he's slipping and sliding, maybe a little too much, but it was funny. And Jericho just absolutely flips out, just, you know, in typical Jericho fashion. Cassidy! His new shtick. And then he talks about his jacket costing $7,000, and that if you want a rematch now, it's on. And he asks for a towel, and one of the production assistants throws him a towel, and as he's, you know, he drops it down as he's drying his face. You see Hager and Santana both see that it's an Orange Cassidy towel, and they say, don't look, and he looks at it, and it makes him flip out even more. So it was pretty funny. So we get backstage with Jurassic Express. They're all laughing about the inner circle. Lucha says there's nothing funny about wrestling the elite. And Marco Stunt says, you know, what a bunch of idiots, which will play into later on. We'll hear more about this. So we get Jericho on commentary now, which he was scheduled to be on. He's pissed. He's mad at everyone. Excalibur asked for a replay. AEW shop my foot in your ass, or up your ass, he says. Something about that. It was just pretty funny. Just the fact that he was so like angry. Let me get the light back. There we go. He was just so angry about it, and just throughout the entire rest of the program. It's pretty funny. We then get the 6-man tag, the Elite, the Young Bucks and Kenny versus Jurassic Express. Nick and Jungle Boy putting on an absolute clinic to start. Really great. Hangman we see at the bar watching, having a couple drinks. Stunt wants Kenny, and then so Kenny is not taking it seriously. He's wearing his shirt, which, you know, usually like from his New Japan days, you know, if he's not taking it seriously, he doesn't even take off his shirt. Eventually he does, because Stunt does start getting some shots in on him. There's a triple team on Matt, Cannonball Rana by Stunt on Matt on the outside. Nick with the punt on Stunt while flossing. That was pretty funny. Luchasaurus and Kenny square off. Kenny with the Tope con Hero, the Rise of the Terminator on Jurassic Express. Jungle Boy Rana's Nick off the apron to the outside. In swinging DDT on Jungle Boy on Matt. Choke slam, standing moonsault on Nick, but Kenny breaks up the count. Hangman almost done with the bottle, and FTR shows up, and then they start drinking together. You know, he doesn't shoo them away. They're all just drinking normal. V-trigger on Luchasaurus is no-sold. Then we get Snapdragons on everyone by Kenny. Brings Stun over to the top onto Kenny for a Rana. Extinction level event on Kenny, but the Bucks break up the count. Tiger Driver 98 on Luchasaurus for a 2 count. We get a springboard Rana by Jungle Boy on Nick, and a 450 by Stunt, but Matt breaks up the count. And then this absolutely ridiculous, I mean, the setup it took a little, just like a second too long, but there was, so Matt Jackson standing on the middle rope looking toward the ramp. On the outside, Jungle Boy and is holding Matt, and then Luchasaurus is standing like kind of face to face with Matt, so they assist Stunt to get up on Luchasaurus's shoulders and then flip onto Matt doing a Canadian Destroyer. It was just wow. It looked brutal. It just looked absolutely brutal. A little too long for the setup, but still just looked awesome. Nick breaks up the count on that. Kenny hits V-triggers on Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt. Stunt counters the One-Winged Angel to start, but then another V-trigger and then a One-Winged Angel just absolutely crushes him for the win. Then Kenny looks like he's about to help Stunt, and then he just starts punching him. Nick stops him, and he's looking devious, kind of like his cleaner gimmick. They're saying, oh, it's just a match, and then you can hear Luchasaurus saying, well, the match is over, like, what the hell? Super professional. Oh my god, brown pipe. So what I had said before in being the elite about Kenny possibly returning to his cleaner gimmick, I don't know if this is any correlation to it or if it's just, I don't know what exactly is going on. I don't know if this was just if FTR kind of just pissed him off and he's just in a bad mood. I don't know. But then we go to we get sent to that fathead Alex Marvez. So we get a backstage interview with Shida. So 4 out of the 5 4 of the 5 contenders are not available. So does that mean Nyla Rose will get her rematch? Shida says, she'll give it to Nyla, but she'll also give it to anybody. Basically saying that, if you think you can beat me, step up. Kind of like an open challenge, so we'll see what ends up happening there. Interview from earlier today with Moxley. Purge all his frustrations on Cage. Since according to Technique by Taz, he won't be able to get the paradigm shift. He'll just have to rip the surgically repaired bicep off the bone, which I don't know if you know. Cage was out of action for several months because he had a bicep tear and had surgery to repair it. So Jericho's still cleaning up. Is given a wipe by Britt Baker. Excalibur then throws to another replay, which is pretty funny. We then get the Dynamite, or I guess Dynamite, or main show debut, or however you want to call it, of the Nightmare Sisters versus Kenzie Page and MJ Jenkins. From NXT, I know she had a couple of squash matches or just regular enhancement talent matches. I believe she was also in the Mae Young Classic as well. So, but I don't know if she's signed to or I mean not signed obviously, 'cause they would say that she's signed, but has some kind of more affiliation than just a jobber match. We'll see. We get a super kick, sliding clothesline combo on Page. Blind tag by Brandy and a super kick on Page. Allie with kind of like a slop drop elbow on Jenkins for the win. Dustin reluctantly raises Allie's hand. So they kind of maybe took a step back from the Dark when they were kind of like all together. Dustin's still very reluctant and weary of it. What the hell is that? It's falling from somebody else's apartment. Anyway, so we get a Nyla Rose announcement. Brought out with Rebel and bandages around her nose. She says she's not going to tell everyone who her manager is. She'll just let them show. And there was speculation of this, who it would be. Vicky Guerrero comes out as the manager, says that everyone doesn't know when to lie, cheat, and steal, kind of like Eddie. And that Nyla will go for the title when she's ready for it. So then we get a rundown of what's going to happen next week. So we get a TNT title match. We don't know who the opponent is yet. Hangman versus 5 of the Dark Order. We get Ivelisse versus Diamante, which is pretty good. Both are really good wrestlers. Ivelisse was from Impact. We get MJF is going to be in action. We get the Bucks versus Butcher and the Blade in a Falls Count Anywhere match, which should be really good. And then we get Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy versus Jericho and Hager after, I believe it's Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. I'm not sure. But yeah, after Jericho was really pissed at the remarks that they made, making fun of them for getting orange juice dumped on them. We then get our main event for Fight for the Fallen. We get Moxley versus Cage. So Cage and Taz come out first. He's cutting a promo. He's spouting that propaganda BS. While Mox was quarantining with his little wifey, Cage was wrestling a regular schedule. So Moxley comes out. They're just beating the crap out of each other. Fall away slam by Cage. Cage in control during the break. Mox in the torture rack. Mox sent into the barricade. A paradigm shift for a 2 count. He does get the paradigm shift on. Superplex on Cage for a 2 count. Mox puts him in a Kimura lock, but Cage counters into a buckle bomb. Cage suplexes Mox from the apron into the ring. There's an armbar by Mox. Cage gets up and puts the same move. But then, so Cage is able to get up, but Mox is basically able to wrestle him back down to the ground in the same armbar, but it's just a different position. He's looking square at Taz while this is going on. They're jawing at each other. I think the middle finger was given in, but it just looks like Cage can't get out of it. So Taz, is fraught. Finally, he throws in the towel so that Mox can win. Obviously, a lot of people have not been happy with this because it kind of, it's like we had the towel throw in with the Cody Rhodes MJF, but that was a while ago. We almost had a towel throw in when Archer was facing QT with Cody, but what ended up happening here, I don't have a problem with it. I think it was all right in the sense that it actually makes Taz look like he cares about Cage, and he's not just just another name to use for his own benefit. He knows that this guy had a surgically repaired bicep, and that he knows that Cage won't be the one to tap out, and so that he can fight for another day. Because that's being a bad, the FTW badass mother effer, is that he will allow himself to get his bicep ripped off the bone. But obviously Taz, being the good manager, doesn't want that to happen and say, you know what, I'd rather you take a loss now than you take a loss and be out for several months, hurting with a re-injury. So Cage hits him with the FTW title. Cage on the attack. The lights go out. Then Darby Allin shows up and hits Cage in the throat with the skateboard. Mox and Darby kind of give like a look at each other, and that is the end of Fight for the Fallen. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of storylines. But yeah, no, overall it was good. I really enjoyed all the matches. So as always, I do my match of the week. This one was a little tougher, to be honest. There was, some decent matches. I'm gonna go with the one I had the most fun with, I guess, is the Elite vs. Jurassic Express. I thought, and also because there's a lot of storyline elements to it. Jurassic Express, even though they got the loss, they're being featured a lot, which is good, showing a lot of the stuff. The Canadian Destroyer spot was awesome. There was just so much going on here. It was fun, it was wild, it was frantic. And then also, obviously, the whole Kenny, attacking Marco Stunt after. So we're going to see what happens there. Is this really a heel turn, or is this just him blowing off frustration from FTR? Is this have something to do with what's been going on BTE with him, saying that, they're saying that he's becoming the cleaner again? I don't know. But, it was probably my favorite match of the week. So yeah, that is everything from AEW this week. I apologize for no post-credit this week. I'm going to try to start filming more of them in bunches and then just slapping them in the back of these episodes. So as always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. My social media is down there. I got a lot going on today. I'm going to be doing my WWE Weekend Review. I'm going to be doing my preview and predictions for the horror show at Extreme Rules, blah, blah, blah. I think I have some trailer reactions I want to do as well. So as always, just stay tuned, take a look, see what you like, let me know, and be safe, love each other, and bye now.